Hello everybody, my name is Connor and I am here versus a Reiju. This game I did want to discuss and go over, even though my opponent is new to the game. I really wanted to talk about my plays because I'm not incredibly thrilled with how I handled the game. So, and with my treasure cup, my store treasure cup being tomorrow, I did want to talk about this game. So my opponent, first off, my opponent has an incredible Jill shirt on, Jill sandwich. I fucking love Resident Evil. But back to the game, he finds the Kingdom of Germa stage, that's what it's called, and he gets to search. And I'm a little worried because I don't really have a lot of counter in my hand. We did drop the brand new turn 1, and we were able to mill Perona and Hogback, which is great because prior games I have just not been seeing my Hogback. So here my opponent plays down the baby Reiju, uses the minus ability to get the Reiju ability. I wasn't sure if they needed to play Reiju, the big Reiju, out, so if they do, let me know. But of course, be polite, my opponent is new and I'm just not familiar with the Reiju deck really. So I decide to swing 7 here, tap 2 to, I think I discard, I discard Hina and I play out the Perona. One of the main reasons I wanted to talk about this game is because I wanted to shame myself. I think the entire game I forget to mill off of Gecko ability. And realistically, I think that hurt me more than it helped me. I think milling off of Gecko ability is so good. So yeah, not doing that was really unfortunate for me. But my opponent forgot to get his down for turn, plays out the big Reiju, and is just going over the card, reading the card. One thing he does like, and I know one of you guys literally just commented this on the other video, one of my other videos, and I'm gonna do it, is he does have the coin from, I think that's Pokemon, to signify that he has used leader ability. And I know that there are a couple companies who make like ability used signs or things, tokens, and yeah, I kind of want them at this point. So here I am. Yo, shout out to my little goatee there. That was kind of impressive, not gonna lie. Here I am. My opponent, as I mentioned, is new. He finally got his Tony Chopper, so I was just reminding him that Tony Chopper, playing out that Chopper, does get to ramp you a Dawn. I think if you're less Dawn than your opponent, and yeah. And I think talking about this game will actually help me be a little more familiar with the Reiju deck. So he does swing 6. I took it, and we did get our Sabo there, and we top deck Sakazuki, which I am currently running 3 Sakazukis, and I'm thinking about dropping it to 1 or 2, just because I don't feel like I get to use it in most matchups. I feel like I use it here, but I don't know what I'd replace it with, and that's the issue here. So we poke 5 with Perona, and my opponent goes ahead and counters with the Pudding. I swing 6, no leader ability. I think I am dropping the Sabo this turn. They go ahead and take that life, and I tap 5 to drop Sabo. There it goes. So yeah, I draw 2, and I get a Sakazuki and an Absalon, and I'm thinking I'm gonna drop one of the Sakazukis. I really want to use a Kuzan this turn, or this game, but I do get Absalon. I get Absalon in the trash. Realistically, it was between Absalon and Hogback, and I don't think there was much of a difference. So yeah, I'm pretty okay with that play. I think getting Sabo on the board as a blocker is pretty good, especially into with the what is that? The Red Ranger? Oh my gosh. It is after a long day at work. I'm so sorry. My brain is not braining right now. But yeah, so I feel like I also feel like I really like the Kuzans, but I have trouble playing them. And usually when I do play them, they just die. So my opponent actually goes ahead and plays off the Green Ranger, which I honestly, like, I love the Green Ranger. And it's it's solely because I used to run him in my RP Law deck, and he was just the versatility of being able to bring out a blocker or you know, another body. Like I just love that card. I find it kind of interesting that a lot of Reiju decks are dropping him. I can see why, but I personally like him. I personally would still want to use him myself, but yeah, so they go ahead and swing 7 with Baby Reiju, and they are going to go ahead and swing 7 with Leader as well. So we take this one at a time here. They swing 7 with a Reiju, and I go ahead and take it, and I get another Rebecca. And so he's just reading the Perona there, and I think with the Reiju, he swings into Perona, and I let her go just to get her back in trash. I figure it's not a bad option there, and yeah, so his body, that's another thing I really like about Yonji, I think is his name. I could be wrong, but he's a 6k blocker right now, and that's a solid size blocker. So we get the Suru off of the top of the deck though, so we could do some stuff with it. It's just nice to have. I think I like what I do here. If I remember correctly, I like what I do here. I'm not a hater. So I'm going ahead and splitting up my Dawn, my beautiful custom Dawn that I made, because I love pain, and I guess. So yeah, I minus his cost by 2, and making him a 2 cost. So yeah, he goes ahead and puts a 2. I really like his dice too. They look delicious. I end up going 6 into Reiju, and then I Leader ability, and I trash Kuzan, and I end up playing out the Absalon to pop Yonji. I figure if they blocked with either of the blockers, I would just pop the other one at this point. Depending. I think actually my Absalon goes through before they can block. So getting the Green Ranger off the field is pretty great. And then we end up tapping, I think the rest, 4, and I grab Rebecca, and Rebecca grabs Perona. So pretty pleased about that. Again, I have 2 in my trash, and you know, it's so funny because I remember thinking, like, I just don't have a lot in my trash, like I must be putting bodies back. No, dummy, you're not milling. You didn't see Sindri, and you're not milling off your Gecko ability. So if you guys are gonna be mean about anything in that game, be mean about the fact that I forgot to mill off a Gecko. Like, oh my god. I know it's only 2 cards, but that's like at least 4 cards in the trash already. So or 4 extra cards in the trash at this point, excuse me. So they finally get the Red Ranger. I'm not even gonna pretend I know their names. And I'm at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get my dice out. I'm gonna my not as cool looking dice. I'm honestly really jealous. I just need new dice is what I'm learning. But yeah, so he is going to minus his Absalon by 2. As I said, new opponent, or my opponent is new. Definitely. I meant to tell him. I don't think I did. Meant to mention that it's a good idea to minus the Sabo, because that makes it harder for me to block and counter. But he swings at lead, and I 2k out. Swings a 6 at lead, and he swings big at lead, and I just let Rebecca go. I think I have another Rebecca in hand. We haven't seen a Gecko, I don't think, at this point, unless I top decked it. No, we got Borsalita, so not terrible. I do have a couple of options, and I'm thinking about. I think I'm gonna Ice Age Gecko, or Ice Age Red Ranger. I keep pretending like I know his name. I don't. And then play out the Sakazuki. I like that combination. So yeah, I do drop 1 for the Ice Age, Red Ranger. I'm just gonna call him Red Ranger. And then Yeah, I thought he was gonna just let him like take him off the board, and I was like, wait, no, hold on, let me do my play here. We pop that, and I think we trash. I feel like we do hog back. Yeah, we trash a hog back. And we end up popping the Red Ranger there, and now we have a couple of attacks on board. We can get Perona back on board depending on how many cards my opponent has in hand, and we can get Perona back if we want. I go 6 into lead, tapping 2. We trash Borsalino, and yeah, I'm just telling him, slow down, man, slow down, let me finish my stuff. I trash Suru, and I play out Perona, and so he will discard for Perona. He discards the Red Ranger, and then 6k at him, and I remind him, I said, you have a, you know Chopper's a blocker, right? And he's like, oh yes, I forgot I haven't had blockers yet. So yeah, I think he was only running 2 at the deck at the time, so I was able to give him 2 that I had in my binder. So yeah, so we swing to 5, and he counters out of the Absalom hit, and I'm feeling pretty good. Like, I like how I've been, like, I like what my hand's been doing. I'm not like super pleased with this game because of how frustrated I was afterwards, like realizing like I didn't mill off a Gecko. Like, how bad of a Gecko player am I? But it was nice to see hog back, especially because the 2 earlier games I didn't see a lot of what I needed. So yeah, so he goes ahead and he plays out the Blue Ranger, tapping the Dawn to do that, minusing the Dawn. There's a lot going on in the Reiju deck, so I do not blame him for being all over the place at all. But yeah, so he minuses to use the Reiju ability. At this point in the tournament, we're 0-2, so we're not getting prizing. So if that's something that you can't do, like, let us know. But it's a fun casual game. Don't be a dick about it. It's actually something I'm interested in because that's really great if you can just minus without having to bring out the big body. So yeah, he ends up minusing the Dawn for Reiju, bringing out the Reiju, and drawing his 2 cards, I believe. Yeah, it's funny because I am really interested in playing Reiju again, but I don't like the Porsche build running around, realistically. So he puts the rest of his Dawn on leader and swings at me, and I just go ahead and take it. I'm thinking that depending on how things go, I could potentially have lethal. And I think one thing, I think I do a decent job of calculating lethal, if I am not mistaken here, if this is the turn I think it is. So yeah, you can tell because I'm picking up my Dawn. I'm thinking about it, and I'm looking through my trash. I haven't seen a Gecko, which is it's typical for me. I feel like Gecko usually, I think in this tournament, Gecko ended up as some point in my life every time. So we end up swinging 6 with Perona, and they give us the Sora for the 2k. I think I'm separating 4 because I'm thinking about playing down Rebecca over the Perona and getting Perona back to my hand if I need to for the 2k, depending on how the game goes. So I swing 7, and they give me 2 cards out of hand, and I think at this point I'm like, okay, like I've drained their hand pretty good. I think I'm just gonna leader ability. I swing 5. I discard Borsalino, I think. I'm thinking about, I'm trying to choose between Borsalino and Ice Age. And I'm just trying to see what I could play back. And so this I think this play wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best. And I think I might have goofed up here because I played the hog back. yeah, I play Hogback over, okay, that's not, oh yeah, see, I go to grab Hogback, and I was like, oh, I can't, whoops. So I do end up putting the Ice Ages to the bottom, but I don't grab anything back. I don't know if I'm technically allowed to do that. Realistically, I think playing it over the Perona and then grabbing the Perona back, if that's an option, would have been a better choice. So we then swing at the 7, and then, yeah, so I play down, I move Perona, play down Rebecca, and then I take Perona back to my hand. I think that works as far as sequencing, but if it doesn't, you know, feel free to call me out on that. I'm pretty sure that's okay, but I don't want to be wrong here. I mean, I don't have a problem being wrong. I just don't. I don't know. I don't want to like cheese. I guess intentionally cheat. I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, so my opponent does a little cycling with the Kingdom of Germa card. Yeah, I think I might give Reiju another try again. Also, my opponent's alt-art leader looks so clean. I don't know why. I have the alt-art Reiju. I don't know if my alt-art Reiju looks as nice, but his alt-art Reiju is like, it's a nice card, okay? But yeah, so he ends up tapping 2, plays out the blocker Chopper, which is it's okay. I mean, we can pop it with an Absalon and a 6k swing minimal. So with 1 life left, I still think we're sitting pretty, as long as I can counter out of or block my opponent's plays here. So he does play out the Red Ranger. I'm not even gonna try and pretend like I remember their names right now. I'm almost at Whole Cake Island. I think that's when I get to know about them. But yeah, so he plays out Red Ranger, and I think he minuses. This was I think a really good call by him. He ends up minusing Sakazuki, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so he minuses Sakazuki, which I think is just really well. You know, I'm proud of him. That is a great call, because now he's a 5k and most of his bodies can swing into Sakazuki, which I want to keep Sakazuki alive. And then he drew for the leader ability there, I believe. Yeah, I gotta have a Pokemon coin somewhere. So he ends up swinging 6. I 2k out, and then he swings 7, and I go ahead and counter. I don't think he swung with a Reiju, which I think he could have. But there was a lot going on that turn, so there's just a chance that my opponent forgot he played Reiju last turn, which I don't blame him. This has been a long back and forth. So I am getting ready to go for lethal. I'm definitely going to pop the blocker with the Gecko ability. I think that the Gecko ability into, yeah, so we go 7, we tap 2, we trash Absalon, and then I remembered to mill off the top the last turn. I literally, if I remember to unmute it, I will. I literally am like, oh my god, I forgot to mill off a Gecko. Like, I'm embarrassed, honestly. Like, and I'm putting this video up here to shame myself into remembering to do that. So we put 2 of our guys to the bottom, and he gives me his entire hand to counter, or most of his hand to counter out of that. And I go 7 because I know that he'll need 2 cards to get out of it. And I just load the rest onto Sakazuki, and that is game 2 Porsches. So I really enjoyed playing my opponent. He was very fun to play against, and he is newer to the game, so I'm hoping that he and his buddies will be around more often. I will love seeing new faces, especially new faces who are excited about the game like I am. But I feel like I played that game all right. Aside from forgetting to Gecko Mill, that's incredibly frustrating in an embarrassing way. And that's part of the problem with learning Gecko in the sim, is the sim just does that for me automatically. So But that is gonna do it for me, gamers. What is my outro? That is gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked this video, hit that like button down below. It helps me out more than you could ever know. Go ahead and subscribe if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.